Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the RotoBaller Radio Fantasy Baseball Waiver Wire Series. I'm your host, Anthony Aniano. Happy to be with you here today as we take a look at the Fantasy Baseball Waiver Wire for Week 19 of your Fantasy Baseball season. The post-trade deadline waiver wire. Recording this the day after the trade deadline, Friday, August 1st, for the waivers running next week for your lineups starting Monday, August 4th. So let's get into it. A lot of action at the trade deadline. We know what happened. A lot of closes. Usually I record on a Thursday. Decided to wait till Friday morning. Let the dust settle, I guess, from the trade deadline. That was my big takeaway there with a lot of action. See what depth charts on these major league rosters will look like. Full disclosure, as always, Yahoo roster percentages are our talking points. Looking for players 50% or more rostered. Stats can change between now and the time you see this. Like I said, recording on Friday. Published, the video will be on YouTube and on rotoballer.com Saturday. So some slight changes, promotions, demotions, injuries. We'll start on the hitter side of things, and then we'll move to the pitching because obviously more action on the pitching side of things. However, few hitters to be mindful of who are the byproducts of some trades. And it goes to Arizona, right? They moved Josh Naylor a couple of days before the deadline. They moved Eugenio Suarez. So who comes up and who takes some spots? First up is Tyler Locklear, first baseman that Arizona got in these trades with Seattle. Locklear's available in 98% of leagues. In AAA, he was hitting .316, 19 home runs, 82 RBIs, and mixed in 18 stolen bases. Nice combination of power and speed. Didn't strike out a lot in AAA, about a little less than 22% of the time. On-base percentage was over .400. He's going to get the opportunity to play first base now for Arizona with Josh Naylor gone. He was one of the key pieces in that trade. So Tyler Locklear, he came up. He immediately started right away for Arizona since that trade. So be mindful of Locklear. If you need some corner infield help, he's available. Now, what happens at third base with Eugenio Suarez gone? Well, right now, Jordan Lawler, the 27th ranked prospect in all of baseball, according to Fangraphs, Arizona's number one prospect. He's on a rehab assignment down in the minors. He was injured down at the minor league level. He should eventually, this should clear a path to playing time for him going forward. He's available in 92% of Yahoo leagues. At AAA this year, .319, 10 homers, 45 RBIs, and 18 steals. .410 on-base percentage, striking out about 24% of the time. He had a cup of coffee earlier in the year. There was really no path for him there with Perdomo, Suarez, Naylor, Cade Smith. Obviously now third base is an available position. How Arizona sets up their defense, we will see. But Jordan Lawler, one of the top prospects in baseball, we waited for him to have an opportunity. It should come relatively soon. Once he gets off the IL, finishes a rehab assignment, we should see him up at some point. He could have an impact down the stretch. Moises Ballesteros of the Chicago Cubs has been promoted. Ian Happ injured. Ballesteros should be the DH for the Cubs. And let's be honest, I talked about Matt Shaw last week. The Cubs did not add the offense we thought they would add. So these young kids like Shaw, like Moises Ballesteros, should have an opportunity to play if they hit. He is catcher eligible. If you need somebody, he's available in 97% of Yahoo formats. He'll be up there. At least he'll be hitting every day, DHing every day, essentially, as long as Ian Happ is on the IL. At AAA this year, .332, 9 homers, 57 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. Hitting the low 200s in his last cup of coffee with the Cubs. Hopefully this one is longer. Cubs did not add the offensive pieces we thought they would. This could open up more playing time for these young hitters if they perform. Finally, one other player I wanted to mention, one other hitter I wanted to mention, Josh Young of the Texas Rangers. If you remember, I was high on him early in the season. I drafted him in multiple spots, struggled, got demoted. He is back and hitting for the Texas Rangers. 32% rostered, makes him 68% available. Now, I know last night, that would be Thursday night, he was out with a calf strain. So monitor the calf over the next couple of days. Hopefully it doesn't lead to an IL stint. However, on the season, again, .249, 10 homers, 40 RBIs. No doubt underachieving. Texas pushing in to go for it, though. Josh Young should be the third baseman the rest of the way. And over his last 14 days, essentially since his promotion back to the big league level, He's hitting .367 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Josh Young, a lot of talent there, a lot of potential there. Maybe needed a reset, got the reset, and he's back up. And he was drafted. He was a 90% roster player, dropped across the board. If he's available in your league and you need third base, corner, infield help, he is available. Now, on to the pitching side of things where we saw the biggest changes courtesy of the draft, the trade deadline. One starter I do want to mention, and then we'll focus on the closer roles and relief pitching. Shane Bieber, traded by Cleveland to Toronto. Hasn't pitched all year, coming off a Tommy John surgery, which is always a pause or a cause for hesitation. He's available in 50% of Yahoo leagues. And my theory on this is this. Toronto must have gotten very good medicals on Bieber. Okay, he's on a rehab assignment. He's close to returning. They don't invest in Bieber if those medicals aren't good. If the Toronto trusts him down the stretch, you potentially can as well. A former Cy Young type of pitcher is Bieber, now going to Toronto as they go to slam the door on the AL East and add another potential frontline starter. If he's available and maybe you have an IL spot, he's a terrific add. Or if you have room on the end of your bench to wait for him to come back, it is potential. Now, let's talk about the closer role and how that has changed just in the last 24 hours. We've had closers at the major league level now lose jobs, essentially. Of course, we got to see the action on the field to be sure of that. But what do we know? We know the New York Yankees now have a multitude of closers on their team, right? Devin Williams, they had Waiver, and now they traded for Camilo Doval from the San Francisco Giants and David Bednar of the Pittsburgh Pirates. My theory is Devin Williams maintains his role as a closer. That's where the depth charts sit right now. However, it could be a quick pull and switch if Williams continues to struggle like he did earlier in the year and again recently. The problem right now is if you had Doval as the closer of the Giants, he loses value. Bednar loses value as well if you're utilizing him for saves in his role in Pittsburgh. Ryan Helsley, closer for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's not going to close unless it's Edwin Diaz has pitched for 2 or 3 days in a row. Helsley now traded to the Mets. Helsley is now an 8th inning guy, and Diaz is the closer. Again, there could be an occasional save. If Diaz needs a day off, you have now the experience of Helsley there. The Mets don't have to go to Stanek or Reed Garrett anymore and deal with that. Mets completely remade their bullpen just like the Yankees did. The only difference is Diaz is locked in. He's having a fantastic season, so there's not really any competition there to be the closer. Right now, that is going to be Edwin Diaz for the Mets. Helsley loses a ton of value, probably even droppable if you had him earlier in the year. Other closers who have changed roles. Kyle Finnegan, formerly the closer of the Nationals, he goes to Detroit. Will Vest, Kyle Finnegan, we see what happens on the field there. Is it a committee situation? Canley's also there stealing a save occasionally. You have at least 2, maybe 3 guys picking up saves for the Detroit Tigers now. A decrease in value, definitely for Finnegan, potentially for Vest. We see how Detroit works that bullpen. Emmanuel Clase, we know the story out of Cleveland. Gambling, I doubt we see him again all season. He's potentially a droppable. Felix Bautista, Baltimore, he injured. Last week I talked about Greg Soto, Seranthony Dominguez. Both of them now traded, so they've lost all value. Dominguez in Toronto, he's not getting saves. Soto with the Mets, he's not getting saves. And Bautista's out. We'll talk about their replacement. And now you've got the situation in San Diego where they pick up Mason Miller. They have Robert Suarez, who was an all-star. Miller is an all-star quality closer. Is it a set 8th inning, 9th inning role? Is it a committee situation? There's been talk of Miller going to the starting rotation. I wouldn't expect that until at least now. I can't see them making that transition at this point, the Padres. So you have 2 closers on that team. Is it a set 8th inning, set 9th inning? Is it a matchup? We shall see. But again, potentially one or both of them can take a downgrade in value. Your best case scenario is a committee situation if you have either one of them or that the one you have emerges as the clear-cut 9th inning guy. So that leads us to now, who are the new closers around Major League Baseball? And I will rank them, I will list them in my favorites to go add off the waiver wire. And the top guy is Randy Rodriguez, who should take over for the San Francisco Giants. He's better than anybody else they have now in that bullpen. He's available in 70% of Yahoo leagues. Randy Rodriguez striking out about 36% of the batters he faces with a 1.20 ERA. Up second, Cleveland's Cade Smith taking over for Clase. He's available in 54% of Yahoo leagues, striking out 33% of the batters he is facing with an ERA of 3.13. Up third, Pittsburgh's Dennis Santana. He's available in 81% of formats. Doesn't strike out the batters like the others do. His strikeout rate sits at a little under 22%. He does have 6 saves on the season. He's picked up some saves along the way with Bednar when he struggled. Dennis Santana has a fantastic ERA, though, of 1.36. Up next, the new closer in Baltimore, Corbin Martin. He's available in 97% of Yahoo leagues. He may be the easiest one for you to get. 32% strikeout rate, an ERA of 1.23. Not a lot of innings. I think he's pitched under less than 10 innings at the major league level. He's already picked up a save over the past 2 days. So he's in line for saves for the Baltimore Orioles, whichever ones are there. This is a team that was kind of depleted at the trade deadline. And fifth, you thought maybe Phil Maton would be the guy for the St. Louis Cardinals. Then at the last minute, they traded him to Texas. So it looks like JoJo Romero will be the closer for the St. Louis Cardinals, potentially down the stretch, unless they go with somebody younger. Romero, 91% available, a 24% strikeout rate, and a 2.04 ERA. So that's how I look at the closers I want to add. Rodriguez from the Giants, Cade Smith, Dennis Santana, Corbin Martin with Baltimore, and then JoJo Romero. There are others potentially as well. Phil Maton, does he pick up a few saves with the Texas Rangers? He's 16% rostered, 84% available. In Washington with Finnegan gone, Jose Ferreira, 98% available if you're desperate for saves. The A's look like a committee mess with Sean Newcomb, Michael Kelly, and Jack Perkins. The Minnesota Twins, right? They traded Duran. I did fail to mention him. He's the new closer in Philadelphia. Forget about anybody else. Duran will close for the Phillies. So then you watched Minnesota and you thought, okay, Griffin Jacks. Griffin Jacks got traded. You thought Lewis Varland. He got traded. Danny Colomé, he got traded. I want no part of whoever's next in Minnesota. They completely depleted that team at the bullpen. They did add some interesting starters in Micah Bell and Taj Bradley, but the bullpen, that's completely up for grabs. No real interest there. All right, so there you go, folks. Some hitters, Shane Bieber, a starter, and a ton of relief changes coming at you as you get ready to work your waiver wire for Week 19, the week beginning Monday, August 4th. Don't forget, head over to rotoballer.com. Sign up now for any of our premium passes. Use the promotional code ACES to save at checkout. Like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel. Download the RotoBaller app, completely free. Get everything you see online, full articles, full videos, you name it, all available on the RotoBaller app. Give me a follow on X at Aniano Fantasy, and we will see you next time right here on RotoBaller Radio.